Welcome to Bed Yoga. I'm Sue and this is my lovely assistant, my daughter Amy. This sequence I developed as a bit of fun on a retreat I taught with a good friend of mine, Jean Nelson, a few years back. And it was so popular I've been asked to repeat it time and time again. So to start, you lie down either on your bed or on the floor. If you're on your bed, I suggest you take your head to the foot of the bed, because when you raise your arms, you don't want to be hurting your fingers on the wall. Take your arms just a little way from the body with the backs of the hands facing the back on the floor and the backs of the hands, palms of the hands facing the ceiling. Take your legs wide so that your toes flop out to the sides and you feel openness in the hips. And close your eyes. Awareness of your whole body lying on the floor. Awareness of every part of the back of your body in contact with the floor. Awareness of the backs of your heels, the backs of your calf muscles, the backs of your thighs, your buttocks, the arch in your lumbar spine. Awareness of your shoulder blades, the backs of your shoulders, arms, and the backs of your heads resting on the floor. Awareness of the back of your head. Feel the openness of the front of your body, the openness of the rib cage and of the abdominal space. From here, connect to your breath. Feel the breath as it comes and goes in and out of your body. Coming into our three-part breath practice, also called the full yogic breath. As you start to inhale, allow the belly to expand. Take your breath to your side ribs and finish the breath at the top of your chest, holding for a moment or two before you exhale and release the breath from the top of the chest, down through the side ribs and back to the belly. At the end of the out-breath, drawing your belly in and up towards the diaphragm, squeezing out any stale air in those lower lobes of your lungs. Inhaling, belly expanding, side ribs, top of your chest, and pause. Exhale and releasing all the way back down. You can adjust the repetitions of this practice to suit the time you have available, either in the morning when you're waking up or in the evening just before you go to sleep. With your next in-breath, I'd like you to raise your arms up and over your head all the way to the floor behind you. And as you exhale, return your hands down to your mat. Lifting your arms as you inhale and lowering your arms as you exhale. As you continue to breathe in this way, noticing that as you raise your arms, the rib cage lifts slightly, the side ribs expand, and you're able to breathe more deeply. As you return your hands to the floor, the spine returns to normal. If it feels right for you, you can accentuate that movement as you raise your arms, actively lift the rib cage just a little more, and then as you exhale, release down. Next time you raise your arms, keep them there. And bring your feet just a little closer together. We're going to lengthen through the whole body. As you inhale, lengthening through the right side, reaching away with the right hand, push away with the right heel. Exhale, release. And change sides. Inhale, lengthening, stretching away with the left hand, pushing with the left heel. And release. Repeating in your own time, alternating sides. And release. From here we're moving into banana pose. I'm going to walk your feet over to the left hand side. And take your left foot over your right foot to stabilize the right leg. Hold onto your right wrist. Inhale as you lengthen through the right arm, and as you exhale, gently drawing it over to the left hand side. So you feel a stretch through the right side of your body, under the armpit, down the side of the body, into the hip, a little bit in the outside edge of the thigh. Simple pose, but quite effective for releasing tension accumulated overnight or releasing tension towards the end of the day before you go to sleep. Holding for about 6 or 7 long deep breaths, and then slowly release, releasing the upper body first. Return the upper body back to center, then release the legs, and we're going to change sides. Walk your feet over to the right hand side. Right foot over left foot to stabilize the left leg. Holding the left wrist, lengthen as you inhale, and as you exhale, drawing it over to the right side, this time feeling a stretch through the left side of your body, under the armpit, through the rib cage, into your hip, and into the IT band. And gently release, releasing the upper body first, and then bringing the legs back to center. Hug your knees to your chest and have a little rock. Bring your feet to the floor, feet together, knees together, and arms to shoulder height, backs of the hands to the floor. We're coming into a mobilizing spinal twist. Breathe in. As you breathe out, bring your knees to the right and your gaze to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, take it the other way. Move gently with control, synchronizing breath and movement. If you've had a long day at work, if you spent a lot of the day sitting down in a chair, for example, this movement can be very good at releasing tension in the lower back. Next time your knees come over to the right, keep them there, gaze to the left hand. Relax your shoulders, soften in your arms. The mobilizing spinal twist has now become a spinal stretch. Ideally, when you work with stretch, you need to hold it for at least 30 seconds to allow the muscles to respond to the stretch. A gentle stretch held for a longer period of time is more effective than really intense stretch held only for maybe a few seconds. Bringing your knees back to center. Exhale and take them the other way. Relax through your feet, relax through your knees and your hips, relax into your lower back. Check your shoulders. If your shoulders feel tight, as you exhale, roll them back and down towards the floor. Soften in your arms, your hands and your fingertips. Bringing your knees back to center, and once more hug them into your chest. Hugging the knees into your chest, very comforting pose that you can adopt at any time you like throughout this practice. Keep your right knee into your chest and lengthen your left leg along the floor. As you exhale, draw the knee in just a little closer. As you inhale, soften the stretch. Releasing the intensity of the stretch on the in-breath. And as you exhale, draw it in just a little closer. I'm going to leave Amy with option 1 and demonstrate option 2. Option 2 is taking your right arm behind the knee and drawing the thigh a little closer in towards the rib cage. From here, lengthening your leg up towards the ceiling and drawing your toes in towards your face. If you can maintain a straight leg, that's great. If you struggle with tight hamstrings, you might have one of these bands. If not, a belt or a towel or anything that feels right for you. Try to encourage a straight leg if it's possible, drawing your toes in towards your face. Slide your hands up the bands as much as you can, maintaining straight arms so you're not bringing tension into the muscles of the upper arms. Holding for about 6 or 7 breaths. Feeling okay?
Yeah, it's shaky.
And gently release, hugging the knee into the chest. Starting to mobilize the hip, take your hands onto your knee and start to draw the knee in little circles. As little circles, testing out the knee joint, see how it feels, and then take the knee in the other direction. If that feels comfortable, you can release your hands and make those circles ever wider, ever bigger. Take them as big, as wide as feels comfortable for your hip. And once again, change direction. hug your knee into your chest. You may find that each time you hug the knee into the chest, it gets just a little bit closer. Repetition in stretch can be a very effective tool rather than always holding for a really long period of time. Do it a short period of time and then repeat it for a bit longer and then repeat it for a bit longer. We're coming now into lying down tree pose. So take the sole of your right foot into the knee of the left. Hands either resting on your belly, or if it's comfortable, take your hands above your head and rest the backs of your hands on the floor. If you take your hands above your head and then after a few breaths you think your shoulders don't like it, then just bring them back down to your belly. This is a passive stretch of the inner thigh. Stretching the inner thigh muscle here and also opening into the hip flexors. Openness in the abdominal space, also in the rib cage, and a subtle stretch of the arms are lifted into the sides of your body. This position is especially good if you suffer from IBS, constipation, abdominal cramps. It allows space for the internal organs to function properly. Bringing that knee back to center and hug it into your chest once more. Extending your right arm out to shoulder height and drawing your knee over to the left hand side. Encouraging the foot to the floor. If it won't reach the floor, put a pillow underneath it, allow it some support so the hip's not taking the full weight of your suspended leg. Holding this for as long as feels comfortable, but at least 30 seconds. And then when you're ready, rolling onto your back, hugging your knees into your chest, have a little rock, and then we'll change sides. When your knees are into the chest, you can do what Amy's doing here. Inhale as you take the knees away, exhale as you draw them in. You can take them in circles if you think your hips are a little tight. Or if you're tight along the length of the spine, you can rock along the length of the spine rather than going side to side. Now you're going to hug the left knee into your chest and lengthen your right leg along the floor. As you exhale, draw the knee in close. As you inhale, soften the stretch slightly. Stretching is about allowing the muscles of the body to release, not forcing them, not straining them, a sense of giving them permission to relax. Keeping the knee into your chest, I'm going to ask you now to take your left arm behind the knee, all the way up to the elbow if you can. That's it. And relax your head down. This just encourages the knee in a little bit closer. Gently releasing, lengthening your leg towards the ceiling. Maybe using your band. Working into a hamstring stretch, encouraging a straight leg if you can, drawing your toes in towards your face. Keep breathing in, breathing out. Maybe noticing whether one leg is a little tighter than the other. Which one's tighter?
Probably say the other one.
Other one. And gently release. Hug your knee into your chest. And now starting to draw the knee in little circles. Just releasing tension in the hip. Take the circles in the other direction. And if your hip feels comfortable, release your hands and make those circles a little bigger. And change direction. And release. Coming into our lying down tree pose. Put the sole of your foot to the inside of the right knee. And relax the knee out to the side. Hands either resting on your belly or above your head. Just allow the body to relax in this pose, feeling the openness in the inner thigh, in the abdominal space, in the hip flexors, openness in the rib cage. A subtle stretch through the sides of the body. After about 6 or 7 breaths or so, draw the knee back into center, hug it into your chest. And from here coming into our twist. Lengthening your left arm along the floor and draw the leg over to the right hand side. Take your gaze down towards the left arm. If the shoulder comes off the floor, bring the arm down just a little bit so the shoulder's able to relax. Maybe closing your eyes. Taking your awareness to any part of your body that feels a little tight. It may be in your lower back, it may be in your glutes, it may be in the outside edge of your thigh. We all hold tension in different places. Nobody's the same. You may not feel any tension around the hips at all. You may find it in the left shoulder. And gently starting to release. Hug both knees into your chest. We're going to finish on the front of the body. Would you like to roll over for me, Amy? top of the other, rest your forehead down and take your legs wide. Wide as feels comfortable, allow space in the hips. This pose is called Makrasana, the crocodile pose. Subtle stretch through the sides of the body, length in the spine, opening up into the hips, creating space in the very lower back. Take your awareness to your belly as you inhale, pushing your belly down into the floor. And as you exhale, drawing your belly up towards your spine. After about a minute, walking your feet together. You're going to bend your right leg and reach back with your hand, holding on to the ankle, and draw your heel towards your hips. Keep the knees together if you can, avoiding a twist in the knee joint. If you can't reach your ankle, you can use a band, like we did before. If you feel any discomfort in the knee, the hip or the back, ease up on the stretch a little bit or leave this posture out completely. Good stretch for the quadricep muscles at the front of the thigh. And release, changing sides. Tension in the muscles of the body inhibits the body's ability to relax. Sometimes we accumulate tension at night. Sometimes we accumulate it in the daytime. Some simple stretching to start the day or to prepare yourself for sleep can be a very useful tool to have. When you're ready, releasing that stretch, pushing your hips back to your heels, coming into your swan pose. Toes together, knees apart, hips to heels. Awareness of your breath. Allow your breath to slow down, deepening both the in-breath and the out-breath. If it helps, you can bring a count into the breath, maybe inhaling for 4, exhaling for 4, or a longer count if it suits your breath. With your in-breath, slowly sliding your hands back to your knees. Coming up to seated. Final long deep breath in. Exhale, forehead to fingertips. Thank you very much for joining us.